welcome back to Crypto Bits. I'm your host, Brittany, and today we have Daniel with us from the platform Relica. We're so excited to have you on today, Daniel. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. Yeah, it's
Good.
nice to be here from sunny Australia.
Oh, would love to visit. Would love to visit. What part of Australia do you hail from?
Melbourne. So we're down south at the moment. Unfortunately, we're all locked up, trapped in our houses. We've been here for about 5 weeks now. So they're imagining that lockdown will be over in the coming month and a half. So I guess it's just more time to spend on Relica at the moment.
I was just about to say, lots more time to spend on the project. Speaking of the project, so how long have you been working on the project before it's actually, it launched? How long has the process been up to this point?
So it's probably been coming up to 2 years now.
Oh, wow. So a good time.
Yeah. I was actually over in London with my brother, who's the co-founder of Relica, and we were at a bar, and we just kind of started to think, all right, we wanted to build on Bitcoin SV, and then we're just throwing different ideas out there. Initially, we started talking about books and stories and, having all that written on the blockchain. But then we thought we'll try to develop something more accessible. So we figured, why not try to create an Instagram competitor and just have it for photos? So that was 2 years ago now, those initial conversations. And then we started development and then kind of released the beta almost 12 months ago now. So yeah, it's pretty
it's coming
pretty
along.
exciting. Yeah.
Sounds like it's coming along pretty quick, actually. So besides you and the co-founder, you said the co-founder was your brother, correct?
That's it.
How many other people are working on this project with you?
We've got about four developers at the moment. So front-end developers. My brother's the back-end developer. And then we've got a designer as well.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
So yeah, we've got about a team of 5 or 6.
So the inspiration was Instagram. Is that what I heard correctly?
Yeah. We tried to make it more, something really accessible. And when you look at Instagram as a model as well, it's so broken. There's advertisements everywhere, and all the users are having their data sold. So these advertisers as well, and then being targeted. And you look at who's actually earning on Instagram, and it's literally like less than 1% of the user base. It's 0.05% of the user base that is earning on Instagram. So they're the influencers. Wow. Whereas we created Relic in the hopes that, hang on, let's allow every single person on the platform to earn. And it's all possible via the micropayments that we've incorporated into interactions. So it's like a tipping functionality. So you've got likes, comments, follows, saves are all monetized with your content. So yeah, just a huge amount of ways to earn.
Well, that's it's really good, because there's a lot of social media platforms that are very similar to Instagram in a sense where your data is not actually your data. And I think that's what a lot of other upcoming projects are hoping to achieve. And BSV. So why specifically BSV? I think it's an obvious answer for people that are in the BSV community. But in case there's not anybody in the BSV community, listening, why BSV?
Well, for one, it's the only one that really works. It's the only blockchain that works, and the only blockchain that scales as well. And we wanted to focus on a blockchain that wasn't constantly changing, every 6 months in terms of what you could build and what you couldn't build and its limitations and all of that. So we initially looked into other blockchains, but obviously Ethereum, you've got the issues of scalability. You saw it through CryptoKitties, where the whole blockchain just pretty much came to a stop once the transactions started to go through, in a large amount. But you've got, obviously Bitcoin SV is the most scalable, and you've got the ability to do those micropayments. So sending 1 cent or 2 cents or 3 cents to another user, and at the same time, the network fee being thousandths of a cent. So
BSV is definitely capable of scaling a heck of a lot better than a lot of other crypto projects. So,
exactly.
But you considered Ethereum in the beginning?
Yeah, we looked into it, but it was literally shortly dismissed after looking at the fees. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's not possible unless and we didn't want to create our own token, like a Relica token that then you send to another user, and then you can sell them on the exchange, because technically you're creating an illegal security. It's like their whole model is backwards, and when you finally kind of understand that Bitcoin SV is the original protocol restored, and it has the ability to do micropayments, there's no other answer, to be honest.
There's not. But for the people that aren't quite on board with the BSV train yet, so why the name Relica? Like, what made you guys choose the name Relica?
Yeah, so we were originally called Memento. I'm not sure if you're following us. A year and a half ago. Oh, well, coming up to about a year and a half ago, when we presented at the London conference. We're actually called Memento.
Okay.
And we went back and forth multiple times with other names as well. We kind of came up with Relica over Memento, given it was quite unique in its nature, and then also it's like a keepsake, like a relic.
Right.
For instance, like a photo is a relic. And what we're doing at the moment, I'm not sure if you've seen the map integration on Relica as well.
I've taken a look. Yeah.
So we've got the map integration of Relica, where we're dropping photos and slash relics around the world for people to collect. And shortly we'll be opening that up as NFTs that we're placing around the map for users to collect and trade.
So I noticed that there was some, I'm sorry to cut you off. I noticed that there was some like treasure chests all over the map. And there was one, I think, I'm based out of the US there, and I was looking the other day and I saw a treasure chest in Ohio. So do you have to actually be in the vicinity to pick up the treasure chest, or can you?
Yeah, the concept is you would unlock your city, and then we drop treasure chests in those newly unlocked cities. And so you walk to the location with your phone, and then when you're in a certain distance of the treasure chest, it unlocks, and then you collect the Bitcoin attached to the photo and the photo as well.
So you're actually earning BSV for each. Are these technically NFTs?
They're not. So at the moment, we're just dropping photos, but it's if you collect 3 of the photos, so 3 of the runes, then you can then you're eligible for the first NFT.
Okay.
Then we end up dropping. So we'll be dropping NFTs on the map in imagine the next month to month and a half, depending on development and how we go. But it's exciting because this is literally just the first stage.
It's the beginning
as to how Maps is going to work, with users and businesses and all that. And we're presenting at CoinGeek next month, actually, 5th of October, 6th of October. So we'll go into more detail there. We're kind of just speaking about what Relic is now, and then what Relic will become in the future as well.
Okay, that was actually one of my next questions. Like, so what are the biggest challenges that Relica is facing right now? And like, what are the goals and the specific, the roadmap, and what are your goals for actually, what are the plans for actually achieving those goals? That was going to be my next question. But if you're waiting to say all of that at CoinGeek, I totally understand.
Yeah. Tune in for CoinGeek because you'll be able to listen to everything that we've kind of built so far. But yeah, definitely the future of Relica as well, but the future of the maps in particular, and how we're going to use them and how we're going to open them up for users as well. We're very, very early stages at the moment. So it'll be pretty exciting next 6 months, I think.
Okay. So
Yeah.
are you and your brother actually going to be headed to New York to attend the conference yourselves,
Oh,
or?
unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. It's I'll be attending the conference from my office in Australia.
So
So
exciting.
Jeremy's based in the UK,
Mm.
and even they have restrictions. Technically, we'd have to fly to Europe and stay there for 2 weeks, and then go to New York, and it's a lot of messing around. So this Coin Geek we'll be doing over Zoom, but hopefully the next one we'll be able to attend in person.
Has COVID affected your ability to actually progress faster on the project right now, being that your brother and is located out of the UK and you're in Australia? I know that you're in lockdown right now, so you'd think you'd have more time to actually work on the project, but has it affected your ability to actually work on the project?
It hasn't, to be honest. So last year I was working in commercial property full time, pretty much. I since finished up in December last year to just kind of focus full time on Relica. But during the lockdown last year, we had so much kind of additional time where we weren't in the office, and the whole commercial property industry kind of came to a halt, as you can understand. So look, it gave me a bit more time to focus on Relica, which is nice.
So is this your is this your sole project going on right now?
This is it.
This
is the sole project. Yeah.
Fantastic.
So yeah, it's the little baby which we've kind of dedicated the last 2 years till.
Definitely. So what do you think are some things that could take Relica to the next level? Like what is it that that you're needing more of, or do you have everything that you need? Like, for example, if you had an investor come in and say, hey, I believe in your project. I want to invest like $100,000. How would you use that $100 to, or $100,000 to further the development of the project? Do you need more devs, or just what would you use the funds for?
Yeah, our roadmap is quite long at the moment, and with the 4 developers at the moment, so they're super busy on some of the existing stuff, like the marketplace we're building out at the moment. But we've got a huge list of other features that we're wanting to implement. So if we had funding now, and we're kind of in talks with a number of parties in regards to investment, but it would just allow us to literally just kickstart a lot of the development for some of these future features, and enable us to do it within almost 12 months. But then not only that as well, like create the iOS app, the Android app as well, and then start to put some money into funding. Into marketing. So with influencers and ambassadors and all of that. So
definitely,
that's the aim over the next 6 months.
So okay, so looking at getting onto the app system instead of just going to the website or opening it up through like hand cash, you're looking to develop and actually put it onto the iOS where you can buy it or download it. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, because you'd be surprised as to how many people kind of say, oh, what's your app? And, so I talk about Relic, and they're like, oh, I tried to download it from the App Store, but it wasn't there. It's like, it's a progressive web app. It's a PWA, which essentially acts like an app. You go onto the website and then you can essentially add the app to your home screen.
Right.
But again, it's just that easeability, accessibility for users. If it can be in the App Store, that's the goal.
Definitely. Well, so what you were talking about marketing. What are some things other than like influencers, excuse me, that you're looking to do as far as promotion? So how do you plan on growing Relica's user base here in the future? Do you have any plans for using any other scaling coins, or to help grow the user base, or are you just looking to do some paid advertising and use influencers to kind of get the word out there and spread the information like, hey, look at this awesome app and what it's capable of doing?
Yeah. Well, next month, and we're kind of talking a bit more about this at the conference. We're announcing the Relica Ambassador Program.
Cool.
So influencers can apply directly through us to work under the Relica brand. So we're announcing that next month, and that should kickstart a lot of the kind of engagement with the influencers, and rewarding them further for growing their user base on Relica. So that will be one of the large marketing projects that we release in the next few months.
I know that a few minutes ago you were talking about, I asked if they were NFTs, and you said, well, part of the initial opening up, where you're going to be dropping NFTs if you find the little treasure chests and everything. Do you plan on having more NFTs in the future? Like, is everything going to be NFT based, or is it just going to be like a promotional thing, like, hey, you can get NFTs for this, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, everything will be, the plan is to literally have everything is NFTs. So say you're a small business and you want to attract customers to your shop, then you could drop a number of NFTs at your shop's location. And those NFTs may be, tokens for, say, half price coffee. So say it's a half price coffee, and you may drop 5 tokens out the front. So then not only that, you're drawing, customers to your shop who then collect the token, and they may bring other friends as well. And there's that aspect of it. But then there's, other businesses as well that can drop NFTs. So such as crypto fights may use the platform and drop rare weapons around the map, that then can be used as the weapon within crypto fights itself. So that's kind of what we're doing, but then also allowing users to drop photos as NFTs, which can then be traded on the marketplace and sold, and then posted on your wall. And lots of cool ideas. So
it's not just an app for, hey, you can get on here and exchange cool pics and go on a little treasure hunt and things like that. It's not just user based. It can be used as a form of advertising for businesses. That's actually it'll
enable kind of businesses to showcase their products, but then as almost opening up the ability for anyone to start their own business as well, like on the platforms. Because what we're doing is, dropping these NFTs, and we'll speak about it more at the conference, but the NFTs will be tradable for the physical medallions as well. So you collect the set and you receive the physical medallions. Now it's like, that's a cool concept, and that's what we're doing. But now imagine a user coming along and be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do something similar to what Relica did. Let's sell these NFTs, and you can trade them in for this, or trading cards, or someone might create their own little Pokemon kind of characters that they've put on the map, and you have to collect all 100 of them. There's so many different ideas that people can come up with. So we just want to enable almost like a sandbox for users to come in and just create their own business or create their own NFTs with anything they want. So we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to seeing what our user base creates.
You sound very passionate about it. You sound very excited and motivated for
it's amazing. It's amazing because no one's ever done this before.
Right.
We're kind of blending the world of Pokemon Go and money.
Of course. Right.
As soon as you have kind of money as an incentive to collect something, it kind of changes the whole dynamics of it all. So it's cool. And we're the first to do it as well. First in the world. So that's pretty exciting to say.
Congrats. No, I've been playing around with the app. Well, not the app, but I've been playing on the website and everything, and I've been checking it out, and everything looks really cool. I wasn't even aware though of like all the possibilities that could come of this, and now I'm starting to look at it like, wow, this is even cooler than I thought it was.
Oh yeah, start noting down your ideas, because you could, I don't know, you could have like a little podcast thing that you drop, and if you go up to and you set a price of $50 and someone collects it, and then they get the opportunity to go on your podcast to speak about their product. You might be like, all right, we're opening this up for 5 people to come on board and talk on my podcast. It's it's say $100 each if you collect a token, and once you do, you can speak about your product. Whatever. There's just countless ideas.
Possibilities are endless, it seems. I was going to ask what really gets you excited about Relica's future, but I really think that answers it. I mean, like I said, I wasn't expecting you to say, look, there's so much more possibilities than what is being presented right now. And I'm sure, like you guys said, or like you said, Daniel, that you guys are going to be talking a lot more about everything the project is capable at CoinGeek coming up. So for anybody interested in checking that out, I believe it's the 5th through 8th next month, and you can get a online pass to watch that live. And I definitely encourage everybody to do so, because I myself am looking forward to hearing everything that you guys have planned for us. But I guess, is there anything that you could touch on now that you're willing to give away, like hint at, that's going to be happening?
Yeah. So the plan is, and this will all happen over the next 1, 2, 3 months, to open up the map for users to do the Bitcoin drops. At the moment, it's just us. We're kind of still ironing out a few bugs, and just in terms of how it all works. So we'll be opening that up for users to then create their own treasure hunts with photos and Bitcoin attached. And then as we progress, we'll start to open up the NFT portion of it and allow users to drop the NFTs on the maps and set prices for those, and then have the ability for them to be traded as well within the marketplace. But the cool thing being, if you collect an NFT, which is the photo, you technically own the photo now, and then you can post that photo on your wall on Relica and then start earning from that photo as well. So you've got the kind of ongoing revenue of an NFT.
How does that work? I'm a little confused. So if you get an NFT and then you're in control of it, how do you generate income or revenue from owning the NFT?
So it's when it's posted on your wall. So if you post the NFT on your wall, then people can like it and comment on it as well.
Okay.
And through those interactions, you're earning.
Okay. So does it cost any? I'm sorry.
Go on.
Does it cost any BSV to like or comment or interact with the NFTs or the photos?
Yeah, so that'll be how Relica works at the moment. So you've got the interactions of likes, which are 3 cents, comments 2 cents, follows 10 cents, saves 3 cents as well. So it'll be those same interactions, but now with your NFTs.
Right. So I guess that was kind of what I was getting at one of my previous questions is, would you consider using any other coins in the future to help facilitate those micro transactions of the likes and the comments and the retweet type things, or is it specifically always going to be BSV?
If you can let me know which coin can facilitate microtransactions, we'll look into it.
Well, the only reason that I bring it up is because, BSV is a great platform. BSV scales and it does everything that every other project out there says that they can do, but BSV can already do it now, right? So I understand the importance of actually building on BSV, but there's a lot of people out there right now who are they're really invested in one type of coin. The crypto community in a whole seems to gravitate around certain coins, and they build communities around those coins. And so I guess that was my question before, is with the user base and wanting to grow the user base, what would there ever be the option of using a different cryptocurrency to bring in more users from other communities, so to speak?
Well, look, we are blockchain agnostic as well. So, our software, we can pretty much integrate into other platforms as well. So, Solana is a possibility, because they do allow the micropayments as well. But at the end of the day, we kind of wanted to use a system that was just cash, which is Bitcoin, just digital cash. Right. So if they wanted to then spend their money that they've earned on Relica, on a coffee or something, whatever they like, they can do that. As opposed to if you just earn a token, like a Solana token, then you technically can't spend it just buying a coffee. You'd need to go to an exchange, sell it to fiat, and then use the fiat to purchase your coffee. So when we start onboarding influencers, we don't even need to mention Bitcoin. We don't even need to mention Bitcoin to them. We can just literally say, this is the way of making money. And then, you earn through interactions, you earn when you onboard new users and all of that. And then when they want to spend the money, we're kind of looking into the whole concept of the RelayX cards, where you can spend your Bitcoin at any shop you like. So if we kind of point people in that direction as well and say, all right, you've earned this money, how do I spend it? Well, you can just get one of these cards and then you can spend it, blah, blah, blah. And I think those ways of spending your Bitcoin will become more and more apparent, and there'll be a lot more services as well to support that. So you don't even need to use the word Bitcoin in your pitch. And that's our aim, to literally remove the term Bitcoin from our pitch and say we've created a social media app that enables you to earn money from your photos. one cent for a comment. So yeah, it'll be exciting to kind of see how the space evolves over the next 12 months, because you've got a lot of projects that are either started building on BSV over the past 2 years, and then you're in the process of launching. I think you're seeing more and more projects come out now. But then over the past 12-18 months, there's probably a lot of Ethereum projects as well that have kind of ported, well, in the process of porting over, because they've seen what crypto fights have done. Because crypto fights originally, they started working on the Ethereum network, but then they realized that it wasn't going to work and it wasn't going to scale. So then they ported over to Bitcoin SV, and they've become very successful. So it's only a matter of time, and I think you're going to see a lot of these larger applications start to be launched next year.
I think it's such a shame too that there are still so many people out there that are just opposed to the BSV project, and they don't take the time to look at it and understand, how it's working and what it's capable of doing. And instead they continuously back these bigger projects where it's really not even relevant anymore. I mean, Ethereum and BTC have such scaling and congestion issues. I think yesterday, the gas fees on Ethereum just to transfer money or whatever were so ridiculously high. I think it was like $150 to transfer. And I'm like, you don't have to worry about that with BSV. It's big block versus, small block versus big block. It doesn't
make sense. I think history will look back at this time and just literally they'll laugh about what were people thinking. Like, it's a similar argument to someone not liking the guy that created the internet, so they're not going to use Facebook, or they're not going to use the internet protocol because they didn't like Robert Kahn. It's kind of insane when you think about it, and people will only learn over time as well. It'll become more and more obvious. Like, I'm not sure if you've seen that video. I think it's an old one from the 90s. It's a talk show, and they're talking about the internet. Like, so what is the internet? I don't get it. What? Blah, blah, blah. I think it's CNBC where they're discussing it. And I think that's where we're going to be in 15 to 20 years. Like, people will talk about Bitcoin like it's just Bitcoin.
It's a normal.
It's everywhere. It's just, what do you mean you don't understand Bitcoin? Like, you don't have to understand the ins and outs of the network, but it's just like, Bitcoin's Bitcoin. This is just a cash system that the world uses. But I think now, because the technology is so new, so revolutionary, the human mind hasn't really grasped what it is. Craig had to come back after 5 years. He released the white paper, and he had to literally come back after 5 years about, no, guys, that's not how it works. And he had to come back and explain how it all works. And then
I know. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like, when you get it, when your mind gets it, you're like, oh, wow, that's amazing. But it's like, this is crazy, because the human mind has never thought of, the whole concept of digital currency. And that's why it's so foreign to everyone, especially everyone in the space at the moment. They're still so confused as to what it is. It's like, because this has never been around, like, in human history. Something like this hasn't existed. So, yeah.
Well, you're definitely right. There was a lot of pushback about the internet when it was first coming out, and people were like, oh, it's just a phase, it's going to go away, it's not going to be something that's here in the future. And now look at us. And of course, we had the internet boom, and
boom and bust.
The boom and bust. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think Bitcoin will definitely see a huge boom. And I think we're starting to see the beginning of that, but I think you're right. In the next 10, 15 years, most people will talk about it as if it's just a normal thing, that, like, oh yeah, we use Bitcoin, or, a cash system for the internet.
And the forks will be forgotten as well. The forks will just be simply a blip in the road, a blip on the radar. The BTC will die. BCH will die. Like, it's so obvious that you need to build on the layer 1 protocol to support the miners. And, you've got the Lightning Network that BTC are trying to implement. That's, one, not user friendly, but two, takes revenue away from the miners. It's like, well, hang on, why are you wanting to take money away from the miners? The miners are the ones that,
miners need to trust each other.
Run the whole network.
There needs to be
they
incentive.
are the backbone of the network. Yeah, exactly. So, it's so obvious that, micropayments are the way to go, and you need to build on layer 1. And, the more transaction fees that take place is great, because it goes to the miners. So I'm not sure what they're doing over at BTC. It just doesn't really make sense. And the fact that, a lot of people say BSV is controlled by Kelvin and Craig and all that, which is, not true. You've got Kelvin's company TAL, which is, one of the largest miners, correct? But then with BTC, you've got a group of developers, 4 or 5 developers, that control the whole code base. The guys over at Blockstream control the code base, and they're the ones that truly, control. And people talk about, decentralization. It's like, well, hang on, how is it decentralized if, like, 4 or 5 guys have access to the code base, and they keep changing things on the code base, removing things, adding things? Like, they removed zero conf back in 2013, 2014,
right,
which was, clearly one of the greatest aspects of Bitcoin.
Yeah, I think there's only like 36 nodes worldwide. There's 30 something odd nodes worldwide, and only like 5 or 6 of them actually control what happens. And it's like, if you don't actually have a say in what is being upgraded or anything, then it's not really decentralized, is it? It's pretty centralized if just a few people, handful of people, are going to control what happens with the network. So I think a lot of people take issue with that, and I think a lot of people don't really understand that concept. And so, BTC Maxis always spout, oh, it's decentralized, it's anonymous. Both of those things are false. And I think at the end of the day, I've talked with a few people about it, and it is sort of like a Ponzi scheme where you have to trick people to come in so that you can get out. And if that's what it is at the end of the day, it's not really digital gold. And it's not a cash system. So how is it a store of value,
Exactly. the only reason they call it digital gold or a store of value is because they broke the original intention of it. Because if it's no longer digital cash, it's like, oh, we broke it, on purpose. What can we call it now? It's like, oh, we'll call it digital gold. But it's like, well, hang on, gold actually has utility. Gold's used in technology and in computers and whatnot, in jewelry as well. So, okay, it has a purpose. It has utility. Whereas BTC, there is no utility. Like, it's used for nothing at all. So, I think they're going to get a bit of a reality check in the coming years. Everyone that's in BTC, and
right,
they didn't learn what Bitcoin was. You had the guy that created it come back and explain it to everyone, and a few people got it. And which is fortunate. Enabled kind of us Relica to kind of get a head start on development ahead of Silicon Valley.
Would it have been harder for you to do as much development in a short amount of time, like the way you guys have, if BSV was more expensive right now?
No, not to do with the expenses, not to do with the price of BSV at all, but more to do with competition. If it was well known that BSV was Bitcoin and what it was capable of, like the smart contracts and all that, you would see a lot more businesses coming over and building on BSV. Whereas luckily for us at the moment, there's not as much competition, and it means we can be first to market with what we've got at the moment and get that head start on all these other applications. And it's only a matter of time before the penny starts to drop and you've got Silicon Valley kind of being like, oh, wow, what is this network? Let's build on this. But
right.
Ultimately we kind of beat Facebook to it and beat Instagram to micropayments, which is a pretty amazing feat.
I get it. BSV is really the only platform.
Yeah, it might sound like I'm a BSV maxi, but I'm just a utility maxi, to be honest.
Whatever works best, right?
Whatever works best, correct.
I get that. Well, I guess, do you have anything you want to touch on, really want to say? I'm almost scared to ask questions because I don't want to get you,
No, that's all right. That's all right. What I can say is tune in for CoinGeek next month, where we kind of will touch more on the map-based aspect of Relica and what we've built at the moment and the future of that as well, and how we're going to open that up for our user base in particular to start generating money through all these different ideas. And people will literally be limited by their imagination, and that's it. Like we're just going to allow people to say, all right, here's a map, here's your map, here's the ability to create NFTs, and then here's a marketplace as well.
Okay.
So, and the map will be the marketplace. So you go up to an NFT on the map, and then you can purchase it there. But then if you want to sell the NFT on the marketplace to someone else that may find value in it, you can do that. And yeah, it's super cool. Super cool. So it'll be a very busy 6 to 12 months.
Like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes. I have to ask though, is Satoshi part of the project?
So we've partnered with a few Bitcoin-based businesses, Satoshi being one of them. So he did his Bitcoin drop, I think about 5 or 6 days ago. So where he was dropping Bitcoin all around the map. So I think he's going to be doing further drops as well. So something to keep an eye out for.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Anybody else big name like Satoshi working on the project that you can hint at?
We are announcing a few at the conference.
Right.
So you can keep an eye on that.
All right. Well, Daniel, Daniel, I really like you. I'm excited about the project. I won't keep you too much longer, but I do appreciate you coming on and just talking about the project in general with me right now, and getting through all of that.
Yeah, thanks for having me on board. It's been great.
Well, definitely check out CoinGeek next month to see where Relica is going in the future and what they have planned. And with that being said, guys, we are going to call it a day. And Daniel, thank you again for coming on, and we will see you next time.